Well, massage therapy is something with which most people are very familiar, but how familiar are you with stretch therapy?
Yeah, it's growing in popularity and for good reason. I want to introduce you to Alex Bishop from Bishop Stretch Therapy. Alex, man, it's good to see you. How are you, sir?
Doing good, man. Haven't seen you in a little bit, but yeah, doing well.
That's because you're doing well. Your book's solid all the time because people are starting to catch on. I remember when I talked to you the first time, I remember saying you're the best kept secret in the city, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah, it's out. Secret's out.
So when I first came to you, full disclosure to everybody at home, just to know, just so you know, I was struggling with really bad back pain. I could at times barely lift up my right leg. I had seen an orthopedic doctor who had done some x-rays who found there's really no structural issues. All my issues were muscular, and I needed somebody to help me get my body working again. And I went and saw Alex on a recommendation. And Alex, by the time I left there, my legs were working, my back wasn't hurting. Do you find it surprising the amount of people that are walking around with what they think are serious injuries, but they're actually things that they can fix with a good stretch? A good stretch. I don't know if it's routine or some good
Yeah.
stretch therapy.
Yeah, it's just, we just got to capitalize it as a session. But yeah, it's kind of the pandemic, if you ask me. It's the side of, you know, muscular imbalance is the biggest thing. And when people are really having trouble with old injuries, like what you had was the biggest old tennis, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
you played tennis a lot
Yeah.
and run and stuff like that. So whenever there's that side of it, you kind of build tissues on top, strength on top of fascial tissues, and we can have imbalances and structural issues that tend to pull strings, basically like where attachments are on joints, and our brain is getting signals of pain, which our body is doing what it's supposed to do. But when we get older, we don't have a lot of the pain signals like we used to when we were a kid, and falling down all the time and scraping our knees. So yes, you're right. It is happening a lot, and I'll tell you, it's a lot of postural imbalance too. There's a lot of occupational repetition, and I mean, we do a lot of electronic stuff now. The pandemic, there's a lot of at-home office, and
Yeah.
it just add time to that. It really causes trouble.
So, with so many people being focused this time of year with getting fit and getting into the gym and eating healthier, I thought it was appropriate to bring you in because a lot of times, you got to get yourself in a position where your body is able to do those things. So, a session with you, if someone were to book with you, talk people through what a session entails.
Okay, so yeah, a session basically, because it's so different and everyone's so individual. First, it comes into, where did certain things start? What were your old problems? What have you broken or torn? And just getting an overall look at how the person sits and stands and can walk, and, do they sleep well? All these little things that add up to kind of start telling a story. And then it goes into showing an educational side of how the fascial system and all this real smart netting that our body is, just under the surface. It's, fascia is the muscle of posture, and there's just a big understanding of it. They're trying to do a good job. There's a lot more research going into it on trying to explain it and put it in simple terms, and really how smart this stuff is. But a session with me really it's just different with everybody. I mean, a lot of times when I start with someone, it's less is more. And so we'll do some simple movement. Can you let go? Can you not guard movement? Do you have old, sports injuries? Is it a performance session? Is it a recovery session? So it's really, really wide and vast. But when someone comes in, we kind of, how do we pinpoint some of those areas? Get some movements in the areas that need it. Get some strength or stability in areas that need it. So it's really, to nutshell it all, it's how can we find muscular balance?
Yeah.
That's
I really liked when you talk about education because you were one of the first people that didn't just work on me and send me out the door. We spent a lot of time making sure I understood why my body was doing what it was doing. And by the time I left physically, it felt like I'd had a full massage. Alex, tell people where they can find you and how they can book appointments if they're interested.
You can go to my website, bishopstretchtherapy.com.
Alex, thanks so much for taking some time today.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I appreciate it.